when others doubt you? What happens? What do you do about that? Hey, it's Lenny Wennerstrom, and I am here to guide you to find your purpose, give you some guidance, some tips, and some help, and some tools. And one of the tools that I use every single day is a passage from Dr. Shad Helmstetter's book, 365 Days of Positive Self-Talk for Finding Your Purpose. So today is August 8th, day 221 of the year, 145 days left in 2024, and we are 60.38% complete with this year. 60.38%. Okay, let's read your passage for today. Usually that's how I start. Sometimes I go on and on before, but it's on and on with things that I feel are helpful for you. Okay, when it comes to my own path in life, I pay no attention to any doubts or disbelief from others. What did we just ask? What do? You pay no attention. I stay focused on my goals, stay on course, and keep moving forward. Bzzz. What are we doing? Higher self. We are talking the second person. When it comes to your own path in life, you pay no attention to any doubts or disbelief from others. What? You pay no attention? Right, you got it. You stay focused on your goals, stay on course, and keep moving forward. Well, my beautimous friend, I'm just a little bit late. Not that you would know, but right when I finished the last video, which was for August 7th, I got a call from the ICU nurse, and hubby, Steve, had pulled out from the jugular a central line, and blood was everywhere, and she was just assuring me that he was fine. They checked his vitals, they called the doctor, and the dogs are trying to get Charlie, who's underneath. I'll show you. Let me see if you can see. He's under there. That makes into a couch, and Charlie, the cat, goes underneath there. So anyway, so I rushed off to the hospital, and everything's fine. He was, they had gotten almost everything cleaned up, but I mean, when you pull out a central line, that's where they kind of take a lot of stuff from. It's okay. Look at this. Let me see if you can see. She got right inside. That's the foot thing that pulls out so that you can make it into a bed. Anyway, they got, Charlie goes under there. Charlie the cat. So, come on, Feather. Sorry, hold on. Okay. Andiamo, ven acá. Okay, so there. Now, there. She's out. Everyone's safe. Except Charlie. Well, Charlie's safe. Charlie is safe from them still. They can't quite get in there. So it was quite the drama, and it could have been trauma. Remember that I am talking to you about the human experience, and I teach something called practical spirituality. If you follow me, you probably are well aware of what it is by now. That is the spiritual journey, which is you are, what you really and truly are is a light being, consciousness, and that's, so you are perfect. Your soul, your spirit, the spirit animates you, and all of that. If you didn't have spirit within, you wouldn't move. You wouldn't be participating in this world. You wouldn't be able to breathe or cough or sneeze or open your eyes or think or walk or talk or move your fingers or anything. That's spirit within moving you, animates you. And then the second part, and really who and what you really are, and tools to guide you in making your life easier as we move into the second part, is the human experience. And we are all experiencing, if you are watching this, you are definitely in the human experiencing the human experience. And it can be fun, and it can be full of topsy-turvy moments like mine is currently, and maybe yours is. And so this is a time when we just flood ourselves with that light of compassion energy, and we just flow. And I'm talking to you about, no matter what it is that you have going on, and this is about, I talk about finding your purpose, but there's so much more that we are sharing on this journey together. And it's your path in life. What is your path in life? Where are you going? Have you found your purpose? What is your purpose? What is guiding you? Why are you here? Have you thought about that? And if you're here with me every day since like last November, I started over with Dr. Shad's book, with his blessing, on January 1st, started the year all over from day one. And we actually have 366 days in this year because it's a leap year. And he actually accounted for that in his book. I love that, man. So much. So the, it's you and me, just having this conversation. And your purpose is, think about it as your mission in life, your overarching mission, not that you're a mother or a father, so a parent, or you're a teacher, or whatever profession, or you're a healer, or you're a caregiver, or you move people on airplanes, or whatever it is. Like, we all have many purposes. But what's that overarching purpose for you? Why did you come here? What is it that you feel called? Like, what is your calling? Something that feels good and easy for you. So this is when we have those callings, when we find our purpose, sometimes we are swayed by things that happen in our life. Remember, no victims, which we talked about, for August 7th. No, we are not victims of situations or circumstances. And you are the driver of your own boat. And when you have your purpose firmly in mind, in check, in knowing your calling, then your boat is straight on. You know exactly where you're going. I always say exactly where you're going. You don't always know exactly where you're going, but you definitely know the direction. You definitely know the skill sets that you may need to enhance that purpose. You definitely know that it feels right for you. In my coaching, I always help my clients to really get clear on their goals. Like, what's a real goal and what is a goal that is just out there and not really what they really want? Because we get real focused on, what is it that you really want? What is it that you really want in life? Because what you really want usually has to do with, and especially if it's easy for you, has to do with your purpose. So we're just always moving forward. And apologies, the puppies are doing stuff. It's really, is it 2 a.m? Oh, it's 2:30. So they called me at midnight, right after I did the last video, a little before midnight. So I was still on August 8th. Anyway, so your purpose is that overarching mission, and to not allow anyone or anything to deter you. Like, I'm going to use myself. I always use myself as an example. Many people do not prefer to use their own examples. It's my life experience. So it's how I can be of service to you by sharing that. I can share other people's experiences, but they're not mine. And I will sometimes, and I do sometimes. Yet I could right now not focus on what I am here to do, my purpose. And my purpose is to help people to understand their unlimited power, their unlimited potential, their true potential, to lift them up, to encourage them, to encourage you, to lift you up, to guide you to find your purpose, to guide you in any way that I possibly can, based on what I have learned, the skills that I have earned, and life experiences, and all of that. My purpose is really to help you and anyone that I can reach that is open and wanting to learn to reach their, you'll never reach your full potential, but to start reaching for that unlimited potential, to understand how empowered you really are, and to help you to find success in every single area of your life. That is a very big part of my mission, a very big part of my purpose, and a very big reason why I show up every single day for you, even if it's a day late or two. But I always come back and read your passage, and I'm here for you. And this experience that I am going through, it's even more important that I feel, for me to share with you just how you can excel in times of change, how you can actually flow through very difficult times. And I wanted to share all this with you because, like, I totally could have panicked. I could have been very upset with the nurse who wasn't watching him at the time. These are things that we could be upset about. There is no, in the ICU, depending on how critical it is, there's one-on-one, the nurse to the patient. Right now, Steve is 1 to 2. So he's in a much better space. This is my husband in ICU. So she has another patient who's way more ill than my hubby is. But here my hubby goes, and in his sleep, I guess, he just ranked out that central line. So actually it was ranked because it was on this right side. Ripped it out. Blood everywhere. Gushing everywhere. By the time she found him, he was like, it was just everywhere. And so they didn't know whether it was from the trach. They had no idea. And so they were, it was, everyone was there. And he didn't code. So anyway, he's totally fine. Everything is fine. But the reason I'm sharing like what I'm going through is because I could have been panicked. I could have, I mean, I could have played the victim, like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is a tragedy. I could have done all kinds of stuff. I could have blamed that nurse. You should have been looking at him. I mean, think about the different scenarios. Think about General Hospital. My daughter watches that, and sometimes Lynette, and sometimes when I'm watching with her, I'm just like, it's the drama. Drama is not my thing. And used to be. I mean, I used to be all caught up in the 3D world and the drama of relationships and all of that. I don't live in that space any longer. And when I feel myself going into that space, because in this hospital, I could totally get wrapped up in it. And believe me, the things I've heard and seen and and all of this stuff, it's quite the General Hospital going on. So there's a lot of drama, and even with Steve, I mean, I could totally get caught up in the drama. Any of us, you could get caught up in the drama of your life in your career, at your job, or whatever it is you're doing. If you're an entrepreneur, and I give you one of my little drama things for me back when, and I have totally gotten it over it. But when people would unsubscribe from from my email list, if it was somebody that I knew, someone I knew, you know, that we had like in marketing or whatever, and meaning somebody that I came up through the years with, and they would unsubscribe. I would unsubscribe from their newsletter. Actually, I unsubscribed. This is how it started. Somebody unsubscribed from my newsletter, or I unsubscribed because it didn't have anything to do with what I just wasn't interested anymore. It wasn't anything, and I felt bad. And I actually, when you unsubscribe, you have a place to say, you know, why. And I said, and I mentioned the person's name, and I said, you know, this just does, I don't, this doesn't, I don't have it, I forgot what I said. This was years ago. And I just said, this isn't pertinent to me any longer, but I love you, and, you know, whatever. And then that person not only unsubscribed from my newsletter, but then blocked me on Facebook. And I was like, and I went and I blocked her. And this is like why? You know what I mean? Like, it's so, but that's what I did. I created drama. You know, I got pulled into the 3D, and I was the victim. She did this, and, you know, I explained, and I was so nice about it. And then she topped it off with blocking me on Facebook. And so, but we could get caught up in that kind of stuff, you know? And it's so silly if you think about it. I don't live in that space any longer. You know, we are one. We literally are one. And so why is it that we feel so offended when someone does something rather than honoring their journey? And the biggest part, if you're just in the human journey, human experience itself, and not so on the spiritual journey, but in the human experience, when you're talking about like the human side of things, then why not just understand that this is a culmination of their programs? And I talk about neuroplasticity all the time, because what happens, I talked about for August 6th, I talk about the mental furniture, and it's all this furniture given to you by your parents, your teachers, your family, your religious leaders, all this tattered, worn furniture, right? Which are your mental programs. This is what they've given you. This is what has been recorded in your brain. So if you think about it as furniture, I love Dr. Shad's, his analogies and his just all of this, his ideas on how to look at it. And instead of that being furniture, you have all this old worn stuff, and it's familiar. So you always come back to it. Like, you always, because it's, even though it's not good and it doesn't serve you and all of that, you come back because it's familiar, rather than replacing it with new programs. Because I didn't know like how to do that. I've totally understood neuroplasticity for so many years, studied it, really tried to change through affirmations and other things. Affirmations don't work. They're wonderful, but they're not repeated enough for us to, I mean, they have to be repeated. This is why when you get Dr. Shad's app, it's programs that are repeated, and you listen 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, or, you know, just passively. And then more as you move into it and understand it, or feel comfortable with it, you listen to more. But you're just always listening passively, like it's the radio playing in the background, or the television, which hopefully you don't have playing in the background because it's programming you. But but you have that playing in the background while you're doing your laundry or doing your hair, or not blow drying, because then you really can't hear it. But it just has to be enough to where the brain hears it. You don't have to hear it like actively, just passively, like it's in the background, like nice music. And you just, and the brain is hearing it, and it's recording it. And so the more you do it, one of the main rules of neuroplasticity is repetition. And you play those programs. So it's just a culmination of people's programs with all of this. Like, my program was to be offended when that person, when I wrote this really nice reason why I unsubscribed, I don't think she saw it as nice. I really was like, I love you. This isn't, whatever. I can't even remember what I said. It was long ago. And then she like unsubscribed from mine, and then blocked me. And it's these are programs. Like she was offended that I unsubscribed. I was offended that she blocked me, that not only she unsubscribe back, but and didn't say anything, didn't explain herself, but also then blocked me on Facebook. And these are programs of being defensive. So this is why I say in the spiritual journey, if we can't just recognize that we're all one, and it's just the journey, and honor that person's journey, and not be offended or anything else, just recognize, oh, okay, that's a role that person's playing, and I'm playing this role, and everything is a message to me for positive change, and just be discerning. If we can't do it that way, on the higher, like what would our enlightened self do? Because that's really how you want to look at it. What would your enlightened self do? That's a tool, right? To think like that. So if that doesn't work for you, and you get upset about something, this drama, then move to the human experience, and you can move out of the drama triangle, because definitely I was a victim of her, unsubscribing and then blocking me. So I felt like I was a victim. So that's a culmination of the programs, and it's also the drama triangle. So we can think about that, right? So if we can just see that it's their programs, and it's not them, it's not the person, it's a culmination of their programs, of their mental programming, of that old furniture that they moved out maybe, but then they moved it back in, or they never moved it out. It's all this worn, tattered furniture. Think about it like that. But these are the old mental programs, and so it's not their fault. Like you now know, if you've been following me, you now understand neuroplasticity, or you have a pretty good working idea of what it is, and you understand that over 77% of your programs, your mental programs in your conscious mind, are negative, harmful, they're counterproductive, they're not serving you. You self-sabotage, and then go to the subconscious mind, where you're on autopilot, when they just go, like, starting the car, and just like, you don't even need to think about it. It's in your subconscious mind, over 90%. And others say 95, and there's just different numbers, but a lot of those programs are negative, harmful, counterproductive, like that old worn furniture. But then you bring it back in, right? Unless you replace it with new programs. So how do you stop all that negative self-talk, that negative chatter? How do you stop it? You replace it with positive self-talk, positive chatter, by repetition, by listening. And the only person that I know that has that so nicely done is Dr. Shad Helmstetter and that self-talk app. So, and I always have that in the description. So that, in a nutshell, is when we talk about, I always say in a nutshell, then I Lynette told me the other day, I can't remember exactly what she said, our daughter, but she said, boy, Mommy, your nutshell is pretty packed. It gets really big. Your nutshell is a really big one. It grows and it grows. In a nutshell. So anyway, so when it comes to your own path in life, you pay no attention to any doubts or disbelief from others. Recognize, by the way, doubts or disbeliefs from others are their programs. It's a culmination of their programs. So it's not them, it's their programs talking to you. And if you accept that, if it offends you, or if it hurts you, or if you stop, like I did for so long with my husband Steve, he told me so often, Lenny, I'm not going to blow wind up your skirt. That was the way he would say it. He didn't say you're not going to be successful. It's like, I just don't believe you can make that happen. I just don't believe. He didn't believe in me. To this day, he probably still doesn't believe in me. And in doing what I do. I mean, now he's seeing because, things are flowing. Or now he has seen. But it took him a really long time, and he still, when I have a new idea or something like that, he's just, he comes from his programs of whatever he believes. And it was very disheartening to me, for me. And so I would stop. My dad did the same thing. He would tell me, you can do absolutely anything. And my mom too would tell us you could do absolutely anything. But then the actions or some other things that would be said, like my dad would say, you're worthless, not just to me, but to all of us. And he would say it in jest, but he'd also say it seriously, and at different times. And it was like, I heard it so often, even not even just to me, but to my siblings. So I heard, you're worthless, you're worthless, you're worthless. And it took me years. And still I find myself like with the self-talk, it's like I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Like, I'm not worthless. Like, I'm amazing. I am like packed with value. I belong here. It took me a really long time. But every once in a while I get just a little twinge of it. And it's like, I listen to that self-talk. I listen to the self-talk of self-esteem, because it's self-esteem. It knocks your self-esteem down. So this is why when you know who and what you really are, you're whole and you're perfect. Absolutely whole and perfect. And this whole thing about getting into the drama triangle, like the judging of others, which creates separation, is can be really, really difficult. And moving through life, flowing through life rather than judging but discerning, is so beautiful. And I say that because even with Steve going, and I'm running over there, like and I did. I literally, I didn't run, but I moved quickly, and I had just given Happy Beans slippery elm. And if you know what slippery elm is, it's an herb. You can get it at most health food stores, bulk, or like at Mountain Rose Herbs or places like that, to get it clean. But or marshmallow root, they work the same, pretty, not interchangeable, they are interchangeable. But anyway, the point is, she was a little constipated. They've gotten Happy Beans, Feather has gotten depressed with all of this stuff. She because I'm not here all the time, and Happy Beans has gotten constipated. And so which means congestion, right, in her psyche, and the food, eating or not eating. So I gave her slippery elm, and I was like, oh my gosh, Aru's like, they're going to poop before I get back. So I was only gone for 2 hours, and so she went right when I got back. So that worked out perfectly. My point is, I don't know what my point was. My point is, my point was that I could have been taken up with all the drama and just rushed over there and blamed and said, you should have been watching him, and you guys suck. And I mean, I could have done that because people do things like that. But I went in and I made sure that, like, thank you for catching it. Thank you for calling me. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. It had to have been pretty scary, especially because it's your charge. And it was difficult for her. And I know she was relieved. And so I went with love. I went in the situation with love, without drama, without being in the drama triangle of being the victim of the situation, or any of that, or being angry with Steve for pulling that out and making me have to go at midnight and get back at 2 a.m. when I've got to be back in just a couple of hours before shift change. And I could do all kinds of stuff. We all can. This is where we choose to move, to flow. We choose our emotions. We decide. How are we going to do this? Look at, this is my shirt, Optimist. Lynette got this for me. Have you ever seen it before? It's my sweatshirt. I wear it all the time, mostly because I don't have a whole lot of others, but because I love it. I love being an optimist. I just saw a glimpse of it, so. But The choice is always ours. What is free will on planet Earth? I believe that it's our choice, because you can believe however you believe, but I choose to believe that if if we are a culmination of our programs that we got from other people, our parents, teachers, siblings, friends, the television, like all the stuff that's coming in and imprinting on our brain, and then repeat, 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 and then all of a sudden it's wired in when we're little, right? 0 to 7, or actually for whenever, always, it until the day, but especially when you're young and impressionable, which is why you want to give your children the self-talk right away from infants on. You want to get that and start playing it for them, so they have high self-esteem, just to start off, start their lives off on such an amazing trip. And I'm sure that you just listening to it will grow as well. It would be good for you as well. Yet all of that is just that imprinting. It's just a culmination of programs, and you can change it. You can change your programs. So the people who offend you and piss you off, and if you have road rage or any of those things, or if you create drama in your life just by your thinking, like me running to the ER, it's not the ER, to the critical ICU, whatever, and blaming and and then just all of that stuff. It doesn't have to be that way. You have choice. So is there really free will? If you're a culmination of your mental programs, is it your fault if you have, you have this negative chatter that says you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you don't have enough money, you're not strong enough, you have limitations? You are unlimited, but you were taught that you were limited. You got the programs that you're limited. You can reverse that. I always like this because it's like, you're crazy. But anyway, it's like input equals your output. So change the input to have a different output so you can have different results. You can change your beliefs. The belief that you're not good enough, not strong enough, don't have enough money, can never have a good relationship, always fail at relationships, can never remember names. The list of these programs go on and on. It's like, I can never remember names. In the hospital, I hear, like, all these days I'm listening to all this self-talk. I'm constantly monitoring my own. It's not judgment, but it's just listening. It's like, wow, the programs, like, and it's this constant of these programs. And thankfully there have been a few of these nurses who I felt I could approach. I don't go around and say, hey, you've got a program running. I don't do that. I used to do that when I was a health coach, not just a health coach, but I used to do that to my sister all the time, and my family, with foods that they were eating, and like, dairy is inflammatory, and this is exacerbating your this or that, and I'd send them all this stuff, and I don't operate that way anymore. I've learned, but anyway, that's part of the journey. But this whole thing, I'm just so grateful that some of them actually want to change. They don't like that negative self-talk, and they got so excited. The ones that I felt I could approach and explain what I do and how I do it, and that it have been helping Steve. And they got so excited. I offered a few of them a month of the free life coaching, just because they have helped him so immensely, and helped me through this journey. And they're listening to the self-talk, and they're feeling, just tonight I saw one that I hadn't seen in about 5 days. We're on what, day 19 there, so I know their schedules, sadly, but she came in tonight, and I said, well, are you still listening? She's like, yes, every day. And I said, well, how are you feeling? She said, I think it's working. And I said, well, how? Like, what do you feel? And she said, I feel better. And I said, better as in, I didn't want to put words in her mouth, but I think she was kind of like looking for the word, and I said, like, positive? She said, yes, positive. I feel more positive. It's like, yeah, you go, girly. It's working. It's working. Because that's how you start feeling just more positive about things. The self-talk, you start changing your programs. 21 days to change a habit is really about 21 days to start breaking down those old programs so you can put the new programs in. You can start doing those so that when people with their programs that don't believe in you and say things like you'll never amount to anything, or you can never do that, or why would you do that? You'll never make any money being an artist, or you know, you need to be a doctor because of this, or you need to be an attorney. We have saved all the money up for your college and you should be this. And or just not believing that what it is that you really want, they don't believe in you. And sometimes that is so difficult when it's someone you love and trust, and all of that, a spouse, you know, like my husband. I'm not going to blow wind up your skirt, Lenny. You know, when you have that, it makes it much more difficult. But when you realize who and what you really are, and when you realize, and went all the way around, but we're back to the human experience of practical spirituality and the tool of self-talk, of listening to positive self-talk, removing the old furniture, the old negative programs with new furniture, new mental programs, and go to August 6th if you don't understand what I'm talking about, the furniture. But it's just an analogy for all the things that, all the old worn furniture that teachers and parents and have given you in your life, and it doesn't, it's all worn and tattered, and it's time to toss it out. But then you move it back in because you're comfortable with it, like you're used to it, even if it doesn't feel good or isn't right. So, but this, you're replacing, instead of bringing in those old programs that negative self-talk, you're replacing it with the positive, with the app from Dr. Shad Helmstetter. So it's positive self-talk app. So anyway, that is about it, because I think it's 3 o'clock. It's 3:05 really on August 9th. But anyway, this is August 8th, the passage. So I'm going to read it again for you. When it comes to my own path in life, I pay no attention to any doubts or disbelief from others. That's what it is. You pay no attention. I stay focused on my goals, stay on course, and keep moving forward. And you listen to positive self-talk to rewire your brain. I just helped add to Dr. Shad's, like he needs any help. But that's what you do. This is how you do it. You change your programs. You get rid of all that old mental furniture. Like, out with the old, in with the new, right? Input equals output. So you can change your beliefs. When you change your beliefs, you change your attitude, then you change your feelings, which then you change your emotions, which change your your actions, and then your actions change your results. So it's just this little cascading event of awesomeness, going up, spiraling up, up, up. Hang out with people that are spiraling up, 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 up. Hang out with those peeperoos. Hang out with the ones who believe in you. And those who do not, that are close to you, do this, right? Do this, because I learned how to do it very well. Do this, right? And do this. Close your ears, blinders, straight on your goal. Straight on your goal, believe in yourself. Listen to the self-talk, the positive self-talk. Change those mental programs from negative to positive, and you will find success in every single area of your life, especially if you hire me as your coach. Especially because not only am I well trained, and it's not like I'm tooting my own horn, toot toot, toot toot. I am tooting my own horn because I'm very, very good at what I do, because I was trained by Dr. Shad Helmstetter and his program, and I have immense amount of knowledge that I've gained on my own. And even now in this time of change, I am flowing through it with grace. Sometimes I crumble like a little wet whatever on the floor, and then in like that, I'm up. It might take me a couple of minutes. Sometimes it takes me a couple of hours. Usually it's minutes. Usually I'm just like right back up. Or I put on the self-talk and it takes me even less time. So that's the story. You can hire me, Lenny at lennymotivates.com. Winner in the line, in the subject line, or wherever you want to, if you would like to explore working with me. I would love to work with you. It would be an honor and a pleasure to guide you through your times of turbulence and change in your life. Just understand that I am here to lift and encourage you and help you find success in every single area of your life. Absolutely, because you can, because you are unlimited and you have unlimited potential. You were born with that unlimited potential, and it got covered up with old furniture, old programs. It got covered up with negative programs. And you, because of neuroplasticity, you can change those just like I have. And you can go through times of turbulence and change with grace, with confidence, competence, feel good about yourself, and even the worst possible things. It's not like you're not going to feel them or have challenges. It's not, this is not a cure-all for the human experience, because that's an important thing. To feel grief and anger and resentment and sorrow and joy and all these things. It's contrast. If you didn't have the lows, how would you get to the highs? How would you know what they are? It's contrast. And then you know what you want, because you want to focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. Now you know what you don't want. Like I'm really knowing what I don't want, right? I'm going to be really healthy. I'm not going to end up like this. Like I'm going to really take care of my body, which for the most part, I pretty much do. I've kind of regressed a little bit in here and had some coffee, lots of coffee and other things. But the point is, you learn what you want and what you don't want. And then you focus on what you do want. All right, cutie butt. I love you so very, very much. Oh, it's time for me to sleep. Wow. This is 43 minutes. Okay. Just put it on 1.75 when you listen to it, or 1.5, and then it'll be really, really fast. Okay. So I'm just going to read this next, the last time, but I'm going to read it from your higher self, right? From you, second person. When it comes to you here I go again. When it comes to your own path in life, you pay no attention to any doubts or disbelief from others. You stay focused on your goals, stay on course, and keep moving forward. And you keep listening to self-talk. Yes, you keep listening to self-talk. So that's a story. I love you so very, very much. You can do this. I believe in you. You can find your purpose. You are unlimited. You can absolutely be, do, have, create. I don't know what the other thing is. I just say these things, but you can do absolutely anything. You can. You absolutely can. I love you so very, very much. And we'll be back later today. As always, shining my light to brighten yours. See you later. Ciao.